he wants you to receive during the worship. He wants to do something during the worship today. But this word the Lord gave me back on April 2nd. And my dad just told me that this Sunday we actually celebrate Ascension, when Jesus rose and went up to heaven. And I didn't realize that, but apparently that was on Thursday, but we celebrate it today. He was on the earth for 40 days, and then he said, I'm going and I'm going to send the Holy Spirit, right? So it's pretty cool. Next Sunday is Pentecost. So we're at a key time right now in what God's doing. And so I wanted to share this. The Lord told me, I saw him like going like this, like breathing. And he said, I want to breathe new life into my church. He said the coronavirus attacks the lungs, causing difficulty breathing. But I'm reversing this, and I'm breathing new life from my spirit into my people. I breathed life into Adam, and he became a living man. Jesus was dead in the tomb, and my spirit breathed life into him, and he arose. We celebrate his resurrection, but I say that I am breathing new life into my church in this hour. It's time to leave the dead things behind. The dead religion, dead works of man, sin, selfishness, all of these things. It's time to receive the fresh wind of my spirit and arise. Whew. And he said, I'm moving beyond the traditions and works of man, and it's time for me to show people what I alone can do. For years, people have tried to accomplish so many things in their own strength for me, but without me, without my spirit. But I say this fresh outpouring will not be by man's might or power, but will be accomplished by my spirit. Has anybody been to a church where it was totally controlled by people, right? We know that that's a big issue. And the Lord just said, resurrection and Pentecost. It's time for new life, resurrection in my body from dead works, and then the outpouring of Pentecost, which birthed evangelism, healing, and miracles. People were praying in unity on Pentecost when my spirit came. And he said, this season, I'm bringing unity to my body. And this will bring the greatest outpouring the earth has ever seen. He said, all the denominations, Methodists, Charismatics, all of these various denominations will see me, Jesus, in each other. They will lay aside differences, and they will experience me like never before. And he said, the charismatic renewal brought my spirit to many denominations in the 70s and 80s. Now, a lot of you guys were around then, and you remember it, right? You remember what happened in those times. But the Lord is saying that this move will be greater. It will be characterized by death to self, death to sin, and a rise of holiness in my body to carry my glory to the world, to the streets, and to the marketplace. I'm looking for glory carriers and transformers. And he said that really strong, glory carriers like that, and transformers. And he said, counties, regions, nations will be transformed by me. Said, so position yourself to receive from my spirit in this season of opportunity. So that was really exciting. And then we've been hearing from all the different prophets, James Gall and all these major prophets, that this Pentecost is going to be a record Pentecost. It's going to be like the original Pentecost, remember? How God brought major change by the Holy Spirit. Well, this Pentecost is going to start the beginning of a great outpouring of the Spirit. It's just going to be the beginning of it, though. It's going to continue. And so the Lord gave me this yesterday because I feel like he wants to prepare us and he wants to prepare our hearts right now. And part of this, why Monica's doing the worship, is because in the worship we can really receive. And that's the key, is being able to receive from the Spirit, receive from the Holy Spirit, because the Holy Spirit's freely given to us. It's just available for us to receive. And so I'm just going to share, the Lord just told me let's see, Romans 5:5, where it says that the love of God is poured in our hearts by the Holy Spirit. And the Lord just showed me that love births holiness. Love births holiness. And the Lord wants us to start relying on his love to be received by receive and be filled by his love, by everything that he wants to give us, so that we won't be looking to other things to fill us. We won't be looking to sinful things or getting filled up by, like people go to food or drugs or relationships or whatever. They do that out of that void. And he wants to fill our hearts by the Spirit, so we won't look to those things. And so yesterday, well, let me just read this verse. Galatians 5, it says, as you yield freely and fully to empower the Holy Spirit, you'll abandon the cravings of your self-life. For yourself craves the things that offend the Holy Spirit and hinder him from living freely in you, okay? And you all know this verse about the fruit of the Holy Spirit, right? The fruit produced by the Holy Spirit within you is divine love in all its varied expressions, joy that overflows, peace that subdues, patience that endures, kindness in action, a life full of virtue, faith that prevails, gentleness and heart, and strength of spirit. And this is what the Holy Spirit wants to give us. Okay, and so yesterday I was sitting out on my deck and I was worshiping, and I saw the Holy Spirit coming up, and I saw Holy Spirit just going like this. But it was just like a light. It wasn't like a loud wind. But I saw people just falling under the waves of God's glory. And the Lord reminded me of a conference I attended years ago. David was there in Miami, but it was this huge arena. And they had Heidi Baker there, Kim Clement, if you've heard of him. He was there. And I just remember seeing the Holy Spirit just flying around the place, just releasing like this gold rain. And wherever the Holy Spirit would fly, people would just go, whoa, and they would fall out like waves. People were crying. I have never experienced the manifest presence of God so strong. I mean, it was like you walk in, it's tangible. You feel God. It's like automatically. I don't care if you don't know him or not. He's there. And people were like overflowing with God and having healed, having encounters with Jesus. And the Holy Spirit said, that's what I'm doing now. But the Holy Spirit said, I want to release my wind in all the churches, in all the families. He said, you do not have to go to a conference with some famous minister. The Holy Spirit's right here available. And he reminded me of what he said in John 14, that I will not leave you as orphans, Jesus said. Remember, he said, but I'm going to send my Spirit to be in you, and it's better that I go away, because then you have the Holy Spirit to be with you all the time. And the Lord told me that when the Holy Spirit came, everything changed. Everything changed. And that's what this is about, is winds of change. The Holy Spirit's changing and bringing something new, totally new. And I saw Holy Spirit like this. You guys ever bake? You have measuring cups, right? These measure the oil. Well, in the left hand, Holy Spirit had this cup full of oil, but it was at like the lowest measure, like this. It was very, very little bit of oil, and barely filling the bottom. And then in the right hand, there was the measuring cup filled to overflowing with oil. And the Holy Spirit was laughing and said, this is where I want my people to be, the overflow. But things have hindered and blocked my people from receiving, or people haven't been taught that I'm available. And Holy Spirit said, I'm dealing with hearts. I'm dealing with your hearts. I don't want anything to block my people from receiving me in fullness. And they said, many of you, and you guys in here have seen the past moves of God. And you know what that looks like. You remember that, Miss Faye and Diane, everybody, you were here when there was a outpouring of the Spirit, right? And but it's different. And I want to reveal the fullness of my nature. I want to connect with your hearts, not just for you to receive power and have a great church meeting and then go back to how you were before. I really want to connect to your heart. And Holy Spirit just said, who am I? Who am I? And so Holy Spirit said, I am the comforter. Comfort. I want to heal the hurts when you receive my comfort. And this is like a mother's love that many never received. And Holy Spirit is restoring that gift of trust, that gift of receiving comfort. Do we ever need comfort? Who needs that? We all see that's the comfort wounds. And then the second is the Holy said, it's time to receive my help every day. Let me help you. Let me help you live for Jesus. And let me help you with all the things you have to accomplish. Instead of you struggling and getting stressed in your own limited human strength, let me help you. It just comes down to receiving help. And the next is the strengthener. I want to give you physical, mental, and spiritual strength. Now, this is awesome because some of you in here are older, no offense, but the Lord is saying he wants to renew your strength. He wants to renew I don't care if he wants to give the strength of a young person. Because he's got things that he wants you to do. I mean, this is the most exciting time to be alive on this earth. Jesus is doing some exciting things, and you're here for this time. He's kept you here for this time. And so he wants to release a strength where you do not have to be limited by your human weakness anymore or due to your health or anything. And it says, I want to give you strength. So take to sit and receive my strength. Take worship. Take time. Just let this pour into you. Because you know what it says? You'll mount up with wings as your strength. And I've experienced it. I've had no sleep, and God has given me strength. So Julie, there's stories, but he will do it. And then the Holy Spirit said, I'm the advocate. People say mean things about you, and the enemy accuses you, right? We have that happen. But the Holy Spirit said, I'm the advocate to fight on your behalf. Okay? And then the last one is peace and rest. Jesus said, my peace I give to you. Now remember, it's a gift. I provide peace and rest in the shelter of my wings. All you have to do is be open and receive this rest. It's a gift. Stop trying on your own and just surrender. Okay? And just say, Lord, I receive your peace and rest. I give you the worry, the anxiety, whatever it is. And I believe the Lord wants to do that here today because the Lord was saying, I want to remove all fear. I want to pour out my peace today. And during the worship, I believe the Lord wants to do that. And so the Lord is just saying that there's lots and lots of other gifts He wants to give you. This is only the beginning. But most of all, the Holy Spirit says, I want you to know me as a friend, a daily friend, to fellowship with me, partner with me, receive from me daily, listen to me. And Holy Spirit said, remember, better than anyone, I've been with you from the mothers and your closest companion. I'm here to help you. I'm here to help you to remove the things that have kept your heart from receiving. And Holy Spirit says, will you let me take them away? Will you let me take them away? Will you receive more of me today? Whew. And that's what I feel like the Holy Spirit wants to do today during worship. That we're going to have an extended worship today. And the Holy Spirit wants to meet with each one of you individually while we're here worshiping and reveal to you what is interfering with you receiving. What is interfering with you, being filled to overflowing. And the Holy Spirit wants to pour out, just to pour out that love, that peace, the comfort, all of these things. And so I just encourage you during the worship today, just be thinking and asking the Lord, Lord, is there fear, that's hindering me, or hurts or lies or sins or whatever they are. And the Lord just wants to pour out his love and release the Holy Spirit today so that you can really receive Holy Spirit to meet those needs that you have. Okay, so it's done that with me. I can testify and changed my life. So that's what I wanted to share.
Okay, well, worship team,